Yeah, she hurt you, but why? Yeah, they hurt you, but why? Yeah, this group of people in this religion that you follow did X, Y, and Z, but why? And is that the religion's fault or is that the person's fault? Yo, what's good? It's Danny, back with another video. Today, we are going to be talking about the importance of having multiple perspectives. Now, I notice a lot, especially now, as people are trying to grow more as individuals, they tend to take more of a linear stance on a lot of things, or a more black and white or cut and dry stance on a lot of things that they encounter. And I can understand why. When you put things in a black and white box, it's very easy to just dismiss information as you go. And in this ambitious time we live in, where everybody in this generation is trying to get to everything now, it's very easy to just fall into fast food spirituality or fast food religion, to where you're just consume, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, consume. It's very easy to do that, but that in reality is not the way, in my opinion at least. I don't see that being the way. If you look back at any of these spiritual practices that people follow, it takes time. And the reason why it takes so much time is because you don't just go straight. It's a spiral effectively. You grow and learn in spirals. There's nuance to everything. There's balance. That's why the yin yang is so important. That's why the judicial system, it's a blind woman with a scale. It's the concept of balance within itself, understanding that things must be fair. There has to be balance applied to it. There has to be nuance applied to it. And what I'm trying to get a lot more people to understand is the power of nuance, is the power of going into situations and being able to think for yourself, as well as being able to remove yourself from the situation in order to think about it in a more objective manner. Now, one way that you can do this is to stop yourself from jumping from extreme to extreme. A lot of the time you'll see somebody, they'll come from, let's say they come from like a heavily Christian background, and one day they wake up and they decide, you know what, this doesn't really sit with me. I want to pursue answers. The first answer that they find is usually going to be something that just completely denounces Christianity and speaks very vehemently of it, and they'll cling to that. They just hop from an extreme to an extreme. So now you went from being a devout Christian to denouncing Christianity entirely. You'll see it on the opposite side of the spectrum too. Somebody will be a devout spiritualist. They'll try to take the, I guess you could say, mystic path, but not everybody takes the mystic path. Some people go a darker path, and what they'll do is they'll just jump straight to a religion and they'll cling to it, and then they'll vehemently denounce the practices that they did before and write off anything that doesn't have to do with that said religion or said sector of existence. And that within itself stops you from growing. It stunts your growth within itself. The reason that thinking like that stunts your growth is because you are effectively removing areas that you could possibly learn from due to your own bias and prejudice. And then you are going out of your way to vehemently speak about these things in a manner that would not elevate you as an individual. If you don't agree with something, that's one thing. Understanding why you don't agree with something truly and still being able to respect it is a power within itself that we should all be in pursuit of. You don't have to be a Muslim to respect Islam. You don't have to be a Christian to respect Christianity. You cannot just denounce something and then hop on this wave of sacrilegion. Sacrilegion within itself is not tolerable. It's not something that anybody should do, but a lot of the time you'll hop out of this and now you're obsessed with this concept of being your own God. You're obsessed with this concept of, having all the power to do everything, and you just denounce any outside being. The sacrilege within that, and also just the idea that you literally hopped from one side of the fence to the other in such a short period of time that I doubt that you fully understand what happened. A lot of the time when we're in these situations like that, where we're jumping from extreme to extreme, it's out of pain, it's out of hurt. It's not out of genuine love for what's to come next. You can't pursue growth. You can't pursue elevating yourself and elevating your vibration and becoming a more positive being, and also in the same breath vehemently speak about individuals and transmute your own energy into hatred in order to get yourself out of situations. And you'll see that individuals do this a lot. When they get into relationships and they no longer want to be in that relationship, what's one thing that they'll do to make it easier to break that tie, as opposed to really sitting down with that person or sitting down by themselves and going through the relationship, thinking about it in a more objective manner, they'll just focus on the negative. They'll be like, yeah, nah, this person's a piece of shit. This person they didn't do this for me. They didn't do that for me. What did they do for you though? It's okay to acknowledge what a person did for you. It doesn't invalidate your pain. It doesn't invalidate what you've been through. If you say, you know what, this person did try to do X, Y, and Z for me. They were lacking in these areas, but overall they did try their best. It just did not work out, and that's okay. But a lot of us don't develop or cultivate the strength to do that. So we call upon the negativity. We call upon the dark energy. We transmute our own emotion and we transform it into that negativity. So that way it's easier. We call upon that negative energy because it's easier than to sit down with it and be like, you know what? That really hurt me. I'm not gonna lie. It hurt a lot. And I didn't think I would ever get hurt this way. Not with you, but it did. It hurt. But I am not gonna continue the cycle. I'm not saying you gotta go tell people I am not gonna continue the cycle to their face up directly. But what you have to understand is when you kind of just hop into that negative mentality and you use that as fuel to get yourself out of any situation, you're gonna find a way to continue that cycle. You just don't recognize it. You hopping out of Christianity or you hopping out of Islam, cool, that is not a problem within itself. Wanting to understand more and unbinding yourself from something that was keeping you restricted from learning more, or that you felt was keeping you restricted from learning more, is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But the energy that you use to get there, that is the problem. The energy that you use to get there is what matters more, depending on what you want out of life. If you're in pursuit of this higher vibration, if you're in pursuit of self-elevation, self-improvement, self-growth, whatever you coined it as, if you are in pursuit of that, you must learn to stop calling upon such negative emotion in these times. There's gonna be a time for you to release that anger. There's gonna be a time for you to release that frustration. But what you can't do is allow those emotions to be the power that you call upon to make those decisions easier to make. If you want to break up with somebody, break up with them. But don't find a way to hate them in the midst of that. If you don't want to follow a certain religion anymore, don't follow it. But don't try to cultivate some way in your mind or find somebody that denounces it and makes it something that you hate, when in reality there's still things you could learn from it that you're cutting yourself off from because of that festering and blinding hatred. You ever heard that person that's like, oh yeah, when I get mad, nah bro, I see red. That's a real thing. I'm not saying that you're gonna beat somebody up by seeing red, but the idea that you're blinded by your own negative emotion is real. It's very real. There's so many things that you can learn from so many people, regardless of where they walked from in life. But if you just choose to have this very cut and dry approach to it, you're not going to be able to learn. Some of the greatest mystics, some of the greatest yogis, some of the greatest philosophers, hell, Jesus, whoever, one of the greatest mystics, Jesus, if you want to reference Jesus, these individuals understand nuance. They understand how to look at things from multiple perspectives. They take themselves out of it and they look at it from every angle. Yeah, she hurt you, but why? Yeah, they hurt you, but why? Yeah, this group of people in this religion that you follow did X, Y, and Z, but why? And is that the religion's fault or is that the person's fault? How can a text be at fault if it within itself is open to multiple interpretations and perceptions? How can it be the text's fault? We could both see the same sign and it means two different things to us. And understanding that is what will help you grow more than trying to be right all the time. So going forward, when you get into these situations and you feel yourself relying on that negative emotion, or you feel yourself hopping from extreme to extreme, because you'll know. If you go from one side of the fence to the other, you'll know. You can tell. Because it's going to look pretty different on one side than the other. Once you find yourself doing that, take a moment, take a pause, and try to find the nuance in it. Try to find the different perspectives. When somebody hurts you, try to understand why they would do that. You know, understand why you felt hurt. A lot of the time, people will hurt you and you don't even know why they hurt you. You don't know why it hurt. You just know that it hurt and you don't analyze it. You don't blame yourself. And I'm not saying blame yourself in the manner that you put all the burden on you for the situation. I'm saying when you blame yourself, take the accountability first to look at yourself and be like, why did this make me feel this way? Why did this make me tick in this manner? Why did this make me yell? Why did this make me do that? Then once you do that, then you move on to the next thing. It's like, okay, well, this made me do that because of X, Y, and Z. Now, why did this person do it? Well, they did tell me this about their past, or, you know, I did notice this behavior about them when I first met them. Now you're beginning to really dissect the situation and understand it from all these different angles. So going forward, you're not mad. You're not angry. You just understand it for what it is and you move forward. But with that being said, I hope I gave you guys a lot to chew on. I definitely want to make more videos covering this topic in the future, just because it's something that I'm not necessarily passionate about, but I do feel like it has a very key importance in understanding how to grow more as an individual, which is what we're all about over here. So I definitely do plan on making more videos of this nature going forward. If you have any ideas for videos that you want me to cover or discuss, feel free to comment it below. If you do want a consultation of sorts, I do have that service available. Just email the email in the description, or feel free to DM me on Instagram, whatever the case may be. Those are paid consultations, however. I do want to advise that in advance. I wouldn't want there to not be any form of transparency with that. If you do want me to discuss something important or talk about something, feel free to comment it. If you don't want to pay for the consultation, that's completely fine. And I'll just get to making the video in the queue that it comes up in. With that being said, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.